Ah, there we go. There we're fixed.
Oh,
Sorry about that, guys. We had a just automatic crash. We're going to try to go Facebook Live one more time. If we get a crash on Facebook Live, we will not be coming back with Facebook Live.
Oh my God, that is such a cool Wookiee cosplay.
Why are you calling me a Wookiee? I am not that big and fat.
he's not fat. He's big
Are
bone.
He's
fat?
big boned.
Dude,
Big
he's
boned and hairy. Guys, how are we doing today? Hopefully we are looking good and sounding good right now. Sorry about the crash. Man, still getting over my cold and crap.
Did you have the con crud from
No,
Nashcon?
not a cold, but allergies, and so I'm just still draining and trying to get rid of that junk.
Yeah.
So, we are back, and Kathy, what episode are we on?
We're on episode 39. It
What?
seems like it should be more, but we did kind of skip one or two nights over the
Yeah.
last couple months.
Yeah, well, we've had to because of things going on.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, hi, Erica.
Hey, Erica. Guys, to let you know that we are going to be doing a giveaway. I'm going to go ahead and start opening it up for the giveaway. It's going to be for the Robot Guile Man, Girly Man book.
Robot Girly Man.
Robot Girly Man book.
Oh,
and
hey, I have two of that book.
No, you don't.
I'll give mine away, too.
So we're going to open up the giveaway. You should see that. There you go. So there you go. To get into it, follow the console commands. We're going to test that out. Entry cost is 40. You can have a maximum of 100. Type in more than dice that and to join. Make sure you do that so you can get in how much you need. You will have to use your points to do that.
Points.
Your points. You have your dice heads. Your currency.
How do they find out their points? Because I don't remember.
You can just do exclamation point dice heads.
Huh.
I think that's
Okay.
what we had it as. So we'll be doing that.
Or,
We'll open that up and give it away at the end of the show. That way everybody knows.
Maybe it's exclamation point more. No, it's not exclamation point dice heads.
It should
For
be.
listeners that are listening on other platforms, this is a Twitch chat only thing they're talking about.
Yeah. Should be exclamation point dice heads. I guess not. I guess I'll have to fix that. Let me see. Console.
Nope.
Let me see my commands.
I have the.
Kyle.
Excuse me. I
Oh,
do
nice,
have the.
John.
Thanks. I do have the operating instructions for this particular
it's
bot
just-
we're using.
It's just exclamation point dice, by the way. Exclamation points dice will tell you how much you have. That way you can get that, and you need to use your dice heads to do that. And you would do the exclamation point more than dice, and then how much you plan on using for it. And if you don't, right
There
now,
you go.
nobody has put in enough tickets to win because you have to put in at least 40 tickets.
Oh, gotcha. So Crimson put in 5, right?
Yeah, so
That
you have to put
work?
in 40. No, that put in
Please.
0.
Oh.
You put them in groups of 40.
Oh, groups of 40.
Yeah.
Oh. There you go.
Ooh.
Have fun with that, guys. So, important. What are we drinking?
So, yeah. John, what are you drinking?
I finished that Mountain Dew Green Label thing. It was okay. Now I'm drinking Dr. Pepper mixed with Cannon Blast.
Dr. Pepper.
Cannon Blast in what is Cannon Blast?
Rum.
Oh, excellent.
It's very fruity. It's a very good if you want a rum to put in a shot glass and sip and or a shot. It is really good. It comes in a black circular thing. It looks like a cannonball. It's
Oh,
Captain
so
Morgan.
cute.
It's
Okay.
they reuse the same thing for the Loco Nut and the pumpkin one. They just reuse the same cap and container, which is cool because you might as well
I, won-
have the
I
same
wonder
container.
if that's similar to the tattoo. Do you remember the Captain Morgan tattoo? They've discontinued it. It was my friend's favorite, pretty much his favorite beverage of all time, and they used to buy out their local liquor store regularly with that. They would just order cases just for this guy.
Interesting. I had never heard of Captain Morgan tattoo, but I see it here.
Uh-huh.
trying to see if there's places to buy it. Apparently, I'm just trying to see if I've got any idea what it tastes like.
Hey, Necromouse, thanks for joining us, buddy.
I've tasted lots of it. It's good.
Kathy, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm still working on this bottle of rum that my dad left here. It is Myers rum, original dark, 100% fine Jamaican rum. And it's actually really good if you have it with real Coke instead of Coke Zero. I mean, it's good with Coke Zero, but it's even better with actual regular Coke.
Regular Coke.
Because sugar.
I'm trying something new today because now it's the all rave around the area. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it. Youngling Black and Tan.
Oh, the Yingling.
Yeah. The little younglings that you kill with a lightsaber. I mean,
No, too soon, Gonzo.
Yingling
Too soon.
is how you say that, Yingling. I
wasn't going to correct him, I know.
I don't get
that.
it.
Well, he asked.
So I'm going to try that out today. I heard it was pretty decent, and since I like porters, we're going to do that today. And before we get started, we need to talk about, get a little somber note in here. We lost two, I don't want to say important people, but two people that you would think that we should never lose due to suicide this week, which was kind of weird. As somebody that has contemplated and had thoughts of that before, make sure you check up on each other. Suicide's not the way to go.
No.
The two people that did it, I would never have thought of because they were completely wealthy, successful business people and did some things that I wish I could do. And that's kind of, like it says, a very somber note. So we'll drink to their family members getting through this the best they can. But if you ever feel that you have that, reach out. Make sure you check on your friends. If you don't hear from one of your friends in a while, check on them. Because there's
keep an eye out. We've had two locals a couple years ago try that, and both were luckily saved because we saw the warning signs and managed to jump in.
Yeah. So just kind of look out for each other, guys. That's always in the night. So for Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade, we hope that their families are a lot better now. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. May they be in a better place where there's no pain.
Okay.
So,
done with that. Let's go ahead and put it over the paint cam. Guys, I did redo the giveaway because it didn't look like it was working. So try it out, and we're still learning this, so if you don't get it right away or it doesn't work right away, let me know. Each ticket costs 40 points. You can have a maximum of 100 tickets. You use exclamation point more than dice. Looks like space, and then how much you're going to put in.
Well, or it looks like they're putting brackets around it.
I was just going to say, it's brackets, numeral.
Yep.
Someone try it with the brackets and without the brackets. We're still learning this, guys, so just give us
your notice thing says that it's type exclamation point more than dice, space, bracket, number, bracket to join. So
okay.
I will go with that.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
Ooh, look at the paint cam. Pretty.
I'm working on my Tree Lord Ancient for my Sylvaneth. We're going to go with the same.
Look at all those branches.
Oh, I know. This one I was telling you about that I'm kind of worried about painting because there's so much on this model. I mean, there's mushrooms here.
Mushrooms will be fun.
Moss.
You can't be scared of painting it, Gonzo. Just do it.
I'm just going to do it.
Are you going to just dry brush some like gray or white just to establish where the details are?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do something like I did my other one. What was it, Friday? I painted up and I painted my Branch Witch.
And that looked really nice.
I'm trying to see. I don't know how well this looks on here. This white glow. Because it's hard
to tell. White always looks weird on camera.
Yeah, because it's really bright.
Yeah, because I used this Toxic Mist, which is like a real light greenish white blue. Which I guess GW is now making a ghost paint coming out pretty soon.
Do you have a shade on that at all?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shadow thing, because it's like I said, on camera it washes
Yes.
everything out, so I can't tell.
And I hate that because it is. I'll take a picture of it later today. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to do it. So, yes, what I'm going to do with this first thing is I'm going to dry brush it with a white and then start inking it up with that blue and then do a dry brush of the blue and then highlight it up from it. It's going to be quite a while project, so I'll be doing this all week on the podcast, on the
Are
streaming.
your little mushroom caps going to be red like poisonous mushroom?
I probably will. And I'll
Maybe
probably put little
Smurfs
black
living on.
dots.
That'd be cute. Yeah, maybe Smurfs live in them. Tiny little Smurfs hanging out on top of the big tree lord.
Yeah, when he gets in the
It would
comic,
actually be.
he can Smurf a Smurfer right in the Smurf.
And Smurf it all day, Smurfs.
Hell, oh, Smurf, yeah.
Smurf and the Smurfs.
Smurf may be the only word more versatile than fuck.
See, I've got no one
True.
using their tickets right now, so it's still not working. Whatever, who did what? Like,
Interesting.
Bane tried to do it. It's not working.
Let me try something here.
Okay.
So
So John has a right. So just kind of play with it, John. Once we figure out what the actual thing is,
what you got? Did that work?
You may not be allowed into it, by the way, because you're an editor or moderator.
I'm just a moderator.
So someone try to type it like John did, and let's see how that goes. So
People did before. I just don't know why. Because that's literally
Yeah.
what it is. I just copied and just filled the number in where the X is. So
Yeah.
if not, it's gonna be interesting.
maybe you can Google it up while I talk about Nashcon. Before I get started painting, I'm going to talk about Nashcon.
Snafu.
That's funny.
Actually, I don't need to Google it. I told you I downloaded the.
I did
I
too.
downloaded
But,
the manual, so I'm just gonna find the manual.
yeah. So you guys figure that out for me.
Documents. Nashcon.
So I went to Nashcon. Nashcon was a smaller type convention, but still a decent size. It was more historic than anything else. There was tons of historic battles and stuff going on. I meant to try to get a demo of Drowned Earth, I think is what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, because I wanted to see that out, but just didn't. I ran out of time. Plenty of stuff there, plenty of things to see. Pretty decent vendors. I did find it interesting that the 40K tournament had 6 players and the Age of Sigmar had 46 players, which was kind of interesting and was really cool to see all those Age of Sigmar armies.
Yikes.
So it was really, really cool. I liked it a lot. I played in the team tournament and then the qualifier tournament, which was a points event, not a full-fledged qualifier, which almost puts me to 40 points, by the way. I'm going to try to get 40 in a couple of weeks. So played in that. Had a good time. It was really weird playing it because I saw a bunch of stuff I'm not used to, but learned how to play. I played 1 Signar, 1 Menoth, 1 Crix, and my other 8 games were against Trollbloods.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it was crazy Trollblood season down there. Which was okay. I learned how to play against Madrak 1 and all that good fun stuff. What else? Only lost one game all weekend. And it was against Cray, and I missed an assassination run, and well, when you put your eggs in a basket.
I was going to ask if it was versus trolls, because that just seemed
No,
likely.
I beat every troll player, and the reason why I beat them on control points, for the simple fact that my army moved so fast, and I could cut them off and just started winning on control points. One player I beat by death clock, everybody else I beat by control points or assassination. So
I'd like to see if that's like just a regional thing for that many troll players, or if it carries through to more tournaments.
it's going to start carrying through to more tournaments because Trollbloods are getting to be a whole lot powerful. Thanks, Tim Banky, as he put out the double champion list with defense 18, defense 16, armor 18 Trollblood champions that sing wing bond and take forever to take down. So we still don't have anything going on here.
Yeah, it's a function on that on what you put in then because the 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 chatbot PDF just gives you the basics. It's whatever your settings are. So
Okay, let's reset it. Because I
yeah,
have it set where everybody can join, not just regulars. So
I don't know what it is. Oh.
I have no clue. If anybody can figure that out, let us know. I'll change it into MTD so people can try different ways.
Oh, you're gonna change it? Okay.
Yeah, I'll change it to MTD. That way anybody can use anyway, and they can just kind of figure it out.
Yeah. Bear with us. We're trying new stuff. Well, might have to go off screen at some point. Not tonight, of course, and play around with it.
Yeah. Which was really weird because I didn't see any Haley 3 Gravediggers. The meta was pretty much Cricks and Trollbloods, which was okay. Not a big deal.
How'd that work?
Let's see what else. Maybe someone type exclamation point MTD space 1 or put it around the brackets.
Well,
around
I'll
1.
do 40 because it needs to be 40.
Yeah. Just
I'm
kind
gonna
of figure
try
out. Let's see what else. They did some really cool things with their tables. What I really liked what they did is they had all the fat mats, or whichever mat place they went with, and they had their terrain and they had the zones. But for terrain pieces like houses, they had a local guy that built 3D houses. Like one of them was made out of like a bean can and some other stuff, so it looked like it was a shack and stuff. But the footprint of the house was the same size footprint as the 2D piece of terrain.
That's my favorite. That's the best use of it because then you can pull it if it's pull it out of the way if it's getting in the way of measuring or doing something.
Yes, which was the best thing that I had ever seen someone do was because you could pull it off, put it back on, pull it off, put it back on, and you didn't disrupt the train state. You didn't have to put things around it to make sure it was there. You could do whatever you wanted. John Spencer, Bandit, and Crimson 1919 have 1 ticket each, by the way.
So it's probably just the hashtag or probably the exclamation point MTD. That's the only one we all did together.
Okay, bracket.
No brackets. I don't think.
Okay.
I think it doesn't care what number you put because it'll. We'll see.
Okay. So it gives you whatever.
Yeah.
On top of that, they 3D printed their own objective markers, which were just like some crates and stuff. But they put the flat objective marker underneath it and then put the 3D piece on top of it. That way you could pull the objective marker off, still have the objective. So it kept the game state.
Yeah, like that.
Interesting.
Which was really, really good. I think that was one of the best ways I saw them do it. They had really good prize support. If you won first, second, and third in the qualifier points event, you got a dice tray from Mechanica Studios. And I already owned a dice tray, so I gave mine away to some guy that was like, that's a really cool thing. I'm like, well, here, you can have it. I don't need it. So he's got a dice tray with 3rd place written on it. He's like,
hey,
okay.
why not?
It seems weird. It's kind of cool to put 3rd place on it, but I would think a dice tray with nothing on it would be just as cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the guy was like, I could really use a dice tray. He says, I already own one. Aaron Gordon already made me one. You can have mine. I'm okay with that.
I love dice trays. It's hard in 40K when I'm playing 40K right now to get them used, but I do love them. Your dice don't go everywhere.
When you're dumping that many dice in something.
I just do it in chunks, or just like, there's all of them. Let me just take out all the hits, and then...
I made a giant one out of pink foam for my Blood Bowl team. It was all Nurgle themed back in the day.
Back in the day.
I had like 3 baffles, kind of one this way, one this way, one this way, and then it spit the dice out the front. But it was this big, giant, hideous...
Oh, a dice tower. Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah.
Dice tower is definitely good with anything a small number of dice. And most of the other games, it's really hard if you're rolling too many dice.
Hey, John, do another thing to try to get more tickets in. I want to say how you get more tickets in while we're talking about this. It was really good. The guys ran it really well. They had good terrain, good tables, good setup, really nice people.
How was the Age of Sigmar terrain?
Age of Sigmar terrain was pretty much what you would think like at your normal store.
Okay.
It wasn't styrofoam blocks, but it definitely was good terrain.
I was actually just curious. I wasn't even thinking of that, but that's fair.
Yeah. So it was actually really good. Other than that, if you're in the Nashville area, go and get, go and go to
Yeah,
there,
sure.
Nashcon. Go show up. It'll be a lot
And
of fun.
did
You'll
you?
enjoy it.
Yeah, try and
Did
hit your
you?
local cons.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, absolutely. Did
Cassie.
you eat anything fun while you were in
Oh
Nashville?
man, yeah, I did. We went to the Slick Pig, which was a barbecue joint. Really good brisket.
Oh, I love really good barbecue brisket.
It was
Oh
really good
my
because it wasn't
God.
chewy. It was nice and tender.
Mm,
Uh,
Then we
now
ate
you're making me
at
hungry.
a what was it? So I can't remember what. Oh, we ate at a pizza place and they made personal pizzas, and it was buy one personal pizza get one personal pizza free.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, hell yeah, I could do with that. It was gourmet pizzas, and it was good. Um, had some good beer while I was there. Good coffee, chocolate stout. And then the last
ooh,
night,
yum.
we all got together and went to the sports bar because it was the only place we could find open that had food and had a good chocolate stout and, of course, had a burger with bacon, egg, cheese, the whole 9 yards. An egg over easy on a burger.
Oh, so
I'm
good.
so
So
hungry right
good.
now.
So
It
good.
was so good. And had a
So,
beer there.
what I love at those kind of events, we did it the first night at the American Team Championship in Tennessee a couple
Uh-huh.
years ago.
I'm going to start paying
Um,
while we're talking.
we all went to basically a Japanese grill where
Uh-huh.
they cook the stuff in front of you.
Yep.
Oh, the
Hibachi grill.
hibachi kind of thing?
Yeah, hibachi type thing. It was a great place because we're all sitting around a table, we're chatting. You're talking to people maybe you don't know so much.
Yeah.
Better when you got people you don't know around you. You'll get someone nearby that way you're not just going, oh, I don't know what's going on. You talk to people you don't know, having a good time. That was where it's at. I think if I were to try and do some sort of convention out of town, I would be like, let's see if we can find some place nearby that's like that.
We
Yeah,
always
you
did
want to go
for,
somewhere a good social one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always good the first night because everyone's there, no one's leaving early or anything like that. Because that was the one where was it Bulldog and JVM and Keith Christensen came into town, also. And so like the last night, all the locals are gone, so it's us and them. We had a good time also, but it's you get a better everyone together
Yes.
Yeah.
the first night.
I'm all about going out and eat and hanging out after a tournament or after
yeah.
something. And not even necessarily talking about the tournament, just hanging out
Talking
with
about
friends.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, hang out with
Just
friends.
hanging out. Yeah.
Doing cool things.
Honestly, that's my favorite part of a convention.
Oh yeah, 100%. Hanging out and not worried about anything. Just sitting there talking
just
and
chilling
eating
and
up.
like, yeah.
So it was a really good con. Highly suggest it. They will probably be getting a appointment or maybe a qualifier next year, so I'll definitely
Cool.
be going there again. Hanging there, it was run by their local gaming group called the Cave Dwellers. The Cave Dwellers are a club based out of the store called the Game Cave. Cave Dwellers.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm
Okay.
with you.
Got it.
Yeah.
Follow me.
was
So it was
fun.
really good. They've got their own Twitch channel and stuff too, so they were really good. Really nice people.
Cool.
Made some new
Yep.
friends.
It's the game www.thegamecave.net if you want to check them out online.
And met a new person playing, which was interesting to see. There was a new girl named Erica, not our Erica, and she was asking me about twitching stuff and everything because she wants to do a yoga channel, and I'm like, I can help you set up stuff with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And she was a new Trollblood player, and she said she played maybe 4 games, if that, and went to Nashcon and played the entire weekend just so she could play a bunch of games, which I thought was like good. She goes, I'm going to get my butt kicked. I'm going to get my butt handed to me, but I'm going to get to play 5, 6, however many games all
Yeah,
weekend long.
and when
And-
else are you going to get a chance to do that? I mean,
Yes.
if you're me, never.
And you get the best post game at a tournament like that because your friends are always a little more, lenient on you.
Yeah.
But or they're playing different games. I play mind games with people sometimes, But a random person's gonna be like, you did that. I was totally impressed with that.
Yeah.
I did that. I saw through completely. They'll give you, the straight up because they're just. There's no preconceived notions of who you are or anything, or
Yeah.
I can't piss this person off because I can't say something wrong because I'm gonna see him all the time. I'll be like, I'll just tell you exactly what I feel.
Yeah.
So
I got to teach people a lot about Grimkin, which I thought was really good.
So they have any other games there besides just 40k Age of Sigmar and War Machine Hordes?
Yeah,
Any,
they had historical stuff was like crazy.
But-
Did they have the bolt action tournament there?
I don't remember if it was Bolt Action or Flames of War, but there was one in the same room as us.
Was it 28 millimeter kind of stuff?
Yeah.
That scale?
Yeah.
Big guys
that
or
would be
tiny
bolt
guys?
action
Yeah, bolt
then.
It was
Yeah.
okay. It looked like tiny guys in my opinion.
Oh, if it was tiny guys in the Flames of War.
No,
Yeah.
okay. And it was interesting because they had really awesome tables, but some of them were kind of rude because I was getting kind of upset with them because they were trying to steal our tables and steal our chairs. And we're like, dude, those are ours. It's there, so you hear.
It happens. I don't let that bother me.
Nah, it was just like, dude.
Honestly, I try and stand for a whole tournament anyways because,
Yeah.
standing's good for you. I know it's hard, but standing's good for you.
I can't imagine sitting on a chair playing a war game.
It depends.
Yeah, it's weird.
Unless you have physical problems that mean you have to sit down, then I can understand that.
Oh yeah,
But
well, that changes the whole
personally-
equation. Yeah, I stand.
Personally, I need that bird's eye view. If I sit on a chair, I can't see anything.
I played a couple Blood Bowl games sitting down, and I'm like, this is messing with my mojo. I got to stand up because this is not working.
But
Well,
overall,
nowadays they've got the giant board for Blood Bowl, so you pretty much have to stand up to look at it.
Good. That's what I want to do. That's my game.
Yeah, me Blood Bowl. I'm lazy. Unless I need to see the other side of the board, really, then I'll stand up. But mostly I'm sitting for Blood Bowl.
Well, we always played it on the either at my local store. We shut down a little bit there, but my store back in the day. But at the Battle Bunker, we would do it on the regular tables. So I mean, we'd be standing
Oh,
up
sure.
at that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a little wider. They're too wide to be sitting down at it.
I'm with you that, Xander Warlord. If there are stools available, stools are great for that. But
yeah.
some guys grab the chairs from the Magic tables at the local store, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You can stand up the whole game. Come on.
But overall, it was really good. Highly suggest if you are in the Nashville area, go check out the Game Cave.
Mhm.
Look at my friend Damon Booker and his group. They do really good. Ran really well. One minor hiccup that they had to learn from, but nothing that wasn't, a big deal. Just learning to do stuff. So definitely will go again. Plus, I didn't have to pay for room and board, so definitely
Bonus!
get bonus. Cause I could stay with Damon at his house. And hang out with
I
him.
smell ham. Just FYI, it's in the air here.
If anybody knows Damon Booker, just call him Sink Boy from here on out.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to tell anybody about that just yet because he's still trying to get over that. But Sink Boy is his new nickname.
Okay.
Now
I'm
you're-
up for
now you're
nicknames.
So he'll be at War Machine Weekend.
I'm
So
looking at the web page for Nashcon right now, actually. Or am I?
I don't know.
It looks like it. June 1 through 3, 2018. No, Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah, it's right around the Nashcon area.
Yeah,
Right
their banner, their background for their website is Bolt Action.
Is it?
Yeah, there's order dates sitting on the
Well,
table with a bunch of models. So definitely there's Bolt Action there. So
Yeah.
who knows? Nashville is not that far away.
So
It's not terrible bad. It's kind of bad for me, actually. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, it's doable.
So it was good. I recommend it again. Other than that, let's go with our main topic of the night:
Yeah.
legacy board games.
Legacy board games.
What are legacy board games, John?
Legacy board games are board games, usually versions of classic board games, or new versions of board games that have been out for a bit, that have a sort of memory, if you will. As you play the game and whatever you end the game with, changes things on the board, cards are added, or what have you. I know, like in Pandemic, based on how you do the game before, you open certain packs, and that changes the way the game is played for the next game.
Okay.
Other ones, you'll write stuff on the board, and it'll change the way things work.
Okay.
Very cool idea, because it's sort of giving you that sort of computer game feel of memory in a medium that doesn't necessarily support it well.
Yeah, I think it started out with Risk.
Yeah,
That
Risk
was the
Legacy.
first Legacy game that I saw, and it was like a whole different map. And during the
Yeah.
course of the game, you're naming the civilization you're playing. You have an opportunity through gameplay to maybe name some of the countries or cities that you're founding. Uh, you during gameplay you make adjustments to the map, so maybe this thing that was connected by a land bridge is no longer connected by a land bridge, and you can only get there by boat.
Hmm.
And this alters the game permanently.
Yeah.
So by the time you're done playing the campaign that takes you through all these adjustments to the game, you have a unique game of Risk that's not going to be like everybody else's game of Risk. And to me, that was the thing that I really liked about that. I never did get to play Risk Legacy, and I still want to.
So apparently, Risk Legacy was first by a long stretch.
By how long
They
of a
Yeah.
stretch?
they jumped in the chat room, posted first, and went and had you know some sandwiches, dinner, because they were 4 years before the next one,
Oh man.
Yeah.
which was apparently Pandemic Legacy. Like,
Yeah.
really, the list of ones that are out is not expansive. There's only 2, 4, 6, 8, between 8 and 10, depending on what list you look at.
But it's growing fast now after the success of Pandemic Legacy Season 1 and then Season 2, which came out last year.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of other ones that came out since 2016, and then last year, and then this year there's other ones slated to come out. Like there's a Betrayal at House on the Hill one, and I'm very
Yeah, but
curious about that because I really like Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
later this year.
I could
Yeah.
see House on the Hill can definitely be a legacy game because I own the original House on the Hill type stuff, and that can definitely use that type of thing because it's changing all the time no matter what.
Yeah. So what the Legacy version does is there's 13 chapters, and you start out. I mean, it assumes that you have the same people, you have the same group of people that are playing throughout, and you have these families. It's like a dynasty. You start out playing a character from this family, and then the next game is another decade. It's like generation later, and you're playing a descendant of that family. And so each game you're playing a descendant from the families that were in the game in the last game. So it
All right.
takes place over the course of decades.
That's cool.
That's super sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And there's a whole bunch more haunts than just the 13 that would take you through the campaign. So, once you've got the game and the mechanics and everything set, you're still playing your unique version of Betrayal with all these other haunts that you haven't played yet.
yeah. So I want to bring this up because Legion brought it up, and sort of on my mind anyways. Is he says that he's not a fan of game permanency if I can't reverse it all when we start my game for a new group of friends, which is fair because most of these are permanent.
You know what? And this is what I like about Charterstone Legacy. That's the one I played a few weeks ago with some friends, and they have a recharge pack. So
yeah, that's where it's at.
And you can you then flip the board over, and you can play it with a different group of friends and get the recharge pack, and so it's like you're starting over. And then, I mean, beyond that, maybe you'd be able to get a separate board and another recharge pack. But I mean, essentially, you're just buying the game again after that. But if you've enjoyed it that much, and I mean, you've gotten your money's worth out of it after one game plus recharge pack, and if you need to play it again, if you want to play through the whole campaign again with another group of people, at that point, you like it, so you might as well just get another game.
Well, yeah, I noted that it's also a good idea if you have a groups that play a game and you want a different group to play it, you just get the group to split the game each time.
Sure.
Because honestly, that is a thing. I can say with fair honesty, there are only a handful of board games I've played. You said there's 13 packs of Betrayal. There's only a handful of games I've played 13 times.
Yeah.
And
Because,
there's a lot of people that mention that too. Like, you get a board game, you only play it a few times, and I'm all sad because I can't even count the number of times I've played Zombicide and its variations, and the number of times I've played Battlestar Galactica with a few different groups of people. I mean, I've got my money's worth out of those games by a long shot.
The only game I played that much was the old Avalon Hill, Civilization, Advanced Civilization game.
Yeah.
It
Which
probably
is
the
saying
only
a lot,
one.
because that's
Yeah.
like 1,000 hours.
Yeah, it's a hell of a game, but it's sort of the thing. It's a byproduct of how many games are out there. But if you like a game that much and your group loves the game and like we want to play this again and again and again, it's a great feature to have some way for the game to evolve. Like if you like Pandemic that much, they're going to do a new season every once in a while. So be prepared to have fun, and if you can keep a group together that long playing that. But it's fair to say that me and my crew are more miniature gamers first.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, the good thing about this is it makes not just a static board game because, all right, I played Pandemic, just a normal Pandemic, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is okay. Played it again, I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I can see where we can beat this. This is not going anywhere for me.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
doing it with the Legacy, I could see it keeps it fresh and open,
yeah.
absolutely.
which is what I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it where it's not stagnant.
It also adds that campaign element that as miniature gamers and occasional role players, we love the idea of a campaign. They're so hard to implement, and it almost becomes a campaign for a board game, which is super sweet.
Like like every game is like Blood Bowl, so I'll draw that comparison to a season of Blood Bowl where you're building up your team.
Yep. And you go and getting better, and that's what made Blood Bowl so good for so long when it first
Exactly.
came out. Was like it's the only game where you like your guys get better. That's why Necromunda took off. That's why Mordheim took off.
Yep.
See, and those to me, I really love miniature games that are like that. That I get to my guys improve or they die.
Yeah, and this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
and this is the board game version of that, which
Yes.
is awesome. Like, because who knows? You may find you play one of these games and you love it so much that you want to keep playing it. There you go. They've just hit you with the exact way to, to keep playing it and not have it become stagnant. As a matter of fact, honestly, if I had a choice of buying Pandemic or one of Pandemic Legacy Season 1 or 2, I would buy one of the two seasons because, it's not going to become stagnant. It's going to have a lot more playability.
Yes.
Yeah, and with any luck, I mean, once you're done with your campaign, assuming that you do get to finish the campaign, now you're going to have that unique game, and
Then you burn it and you make room for the next version.
I mean, is it gonna be fun to play? I would think it would. I would hope so. Now, my friends that we played Charterstone with, they had a different take on the Legacy game. They decided they were going to play with a different group for every scenario of the campaign, and like across the country. So they came in from Seattle, and we all got together and played. So the only two people who played every single game were Peter and Dee, who owned the game, but everybody else was different every time, and you wrote your name and the date on the board for the game that you played, and you adjusted things that you did in the game, like when I played, I was able to place two different buildings in my charter. I placed a palace and I placed a circus, which is so me. So it's Kathy's palace, Kathy's circus. The chalice from the palace had the brew that is true.
So that is your circus, and those are your monkeys.
Yeah, absolutely, those are my monkeys. So
that's a cool way to do it, because so as the person who spent the money for the game, you're getting the extra enjoyment. Everyone else still gets to play the game. Like, oh, what's this cool thing here? You got a story to tell, so a little bit of cool small talk. So that's actually a really cool idea too. In
Yeah.
fact, Legionnaires should take a look at that. I mean, you don't restart the game with a new group. Let the new group come in and see what happened before them. Explaining. You get story time, and every gamer loves story time.
There is a downside to it in that you don't know what the people before you had a plan. Like I'm playing the Grove, this charter that these people before me named the Grove, because at some point you're naming your charter. And I don't know what their plan was. And my little baggie, my little packet of things and cards that was handed to me for the scenario we were playing is what was left over from what the last person playing the Grove left.
So that's what I would do. I would also buy a notebook at the same time. Like, all right, write a simple page of what you were thinking and what you were planning. They may not do this.
That's a great idea.
You give them a little bit of hint, because that's also cool. You're like, oh, was this guy planning?
Well, and now you've got a journal of the whole, course of the game for every civilization or charter or country or, character, whatever in the game. And actually, that would be really a fun little archive to have, at the end.
Yeah, you can do it however you want, You go to the dollar store, buy cheap dollar notebooks. You buy one for each player. It's perfect. You keep it with them. Like, oh, this is the charter of the Grove, whatever. This is what we're doing. Why I called it the Grove. Like, all right, I made, this is, Kathy's Circus and Kathy's Palace with the chalice. With the brew that's true. I mean, you can go through all that stuff, and now they get a little bit of idea, like, oh, it's a world building thing. It makes a board game feel more real and lived in. It's a trick they do with role playing games and other stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think something like that would be fun with Risk Legacy, like logging all the things that you're doing, for each scenario. That would be fun. See, now I want to play it even more. I also want to get my own version of Charterstone, because it really was fun, even though we just played one game out of the whole scenario.
Yes. But, I mean, so there you go. Now you're also can be inspired. Now you've got more tips. So if you're the keeper of the game, you don't have to have the same group. You're like, this is our idea. We're going to do this. And, now you can build upon it. I actually think if I saw the same group of friends like every year at a con, I'd be like, let's buy a Legacy game and play it every year at the con.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a cool thing to do.
That'd be awesome. I mean, I thought of another board game I played at least 13 times. That would be King of Tokyo.
Yeah.
That's a fun
Age
game.
of Renaissance for me. Obviously, one of my favorites. That old Avalon Hill game.
Yeah.
History of the World, we've played a bunch of times.
Sorry, Squad Leader.
Oh,
Oh my
I still
gosh.
haven't actually played that one.
Really? My cousin John is a huge Squad Leader guy, so I'd go over his place. We'd play some Squad Leader. It was a good time. He just hated me because I can roll dice better than him. Were my tactics better? No. I was younger. I'm not. Dice?
Oh,
yeah.
when you're rolling dice, that tactics kind of goes out the window. I mean,
Oh.
you do have probabilities, but
Dice don't care about
there's
probabilities.
no guarantee.
We did that. I was helping them test out a micro armor game years back for a con, and they're like, "All right, John, play these Russians." I'm like, "Sure, I'll play these Russians." I'm like, well, these anti-aircraft guns don't have anything to do, so I'm gonna just shoot at these tanks here." And like my dice were on fire. I'm like suppressing M1 Abrams with anti-aircraft, which just should not happen, but the rules say it can. So my dice said, "Yep, I'm gonna
there you
suppress
go.
M1 Abrams with these tanks that can't possibly hurt them." Like, that's stupid and shouldn't happen. I'm like, but now you know it can happen because dice.
And knowing's half the battle.
Yeah, exactly. But so yeah, we've been talking a little bit in the chat room about miniature games, that sort of function, legacy function, which is really more of a campaign than anything. And I mean, we all love campaign stuff, and like I said, this is basically campaigns for board games, and I'd love to see more campaign stuff for everything.
Yeah, I think there's a game, Lords of Waterdeep, that I enjoy.
Oh,
Mhm.
I,
Oh,
I
And I
bought that.
think that would be really cool as a legacy game. Jim and I were talking about it. I'm like, you could have different buildings. Like you have a sticker that you put on the building token that changes it.
Mhm.
So, maybe this building is in your game. Maybe it never shows up in your game.
I'm waiting
You
for
don't
this
know.
for the first company to be smart and find a way to make those those reusable like plastic stickers like decals like you do
Oh, sure.
and doing those on a board. It might be a little more expensive, but pure reusability, people pay for it because like I don't buy this twice until you get you get a Legionnaires like, oh, I don't want to pay this game twice, but I'll pay an extra 10-15 bucks so that I know they can reuse it whenever I want, brand new with any group.
But you know what the thing that I like about the legacy games, while yes, I do like the campaign aspect of it,
Mhm.
it makes it interesting. In the end, after that's over, you're left with your unique game with
Mhm.
your own unique set of rules and your own unique set of, you know, items, cards, buildings, tokens, bits of the map that have changed,
Dry erase
and you can
board.
play that, you know, you can play off of that, forever. So for me, I don't have a problem with the permanency of it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yes, it would be fun like the Charterstone. I have one group that I would love to play with, and then I would absolutely get the recharge pack and play it again with this other group of people that I know that I think would really enjoy it.
Oh, you got enough people to do it. Do it. Do it. Life's too short. We gotta stop. We talk about, oh, I'd love to do this. No, fucking do it. As long as you're adulting properly, otherwise, just do it.
I'm really not.
Oh well, then adult properly first, then do it. It's
I
my.
wish I could say I was adulting properly, but I often don't feel like I am.
Um, are your bills paid on time and you have a place to live and you eat?
Well, yeah.
Then you're adulting properly. There's no guidebook for adulting. No one hands you a guidebook. Oh, you're an adult now. Here's how you adult. They don't hand you that shit. You just gotta figure it out for yourself.
Right?
But in any case, and any younger kid, any younger person who's listening to this, adulting properly is basically being able to pay your bills and eat and live. After you've done that, just do it. Don't let stuff go away from you. But I mean, just like, I really want to play this game. Play that game. You can make things happen in your life by taking, like, I am not going to do X, Y, and Z so I can play this game. Sometimes that's what you want to do. It's like if I really want to play a legacy game and you don't get a lot of time, I would go to the local store and be like, I want to play this. Which one of you groups want to play this game with me? I'll put it on the local bulletin board. You still stick pins and writing it down. Want to do this at this store on this day? I'll make it work. I'll, stop doing this. I'll have more late nights trying to get my hobby streak done, and I'll make it work. That's what you got to do. And a game like this, a legacy game, really is going to require some of that because it's a bit of an investment. It's both monetarily and time-wise.
Yeah, because often these games are not. It's not a 45-minute game that you're playing.
No,
this is going to be at least 2 to 4 hours.
Yep, and it's more than that. And this is an interesting sub-discussion: is that it's not just time-intensive for you. It's easy to think, oh, it's time-intensive for me, whatever. It is time-intensive for everyone in there. So if you guys are doing it and you can't make it a week, it hurts everyone. So you really got to think about that. It is it's thinking about it. I mean, this is not just a whim game, and I think locally board games we tend to be a bit whim, play a board game. That was cool. It goes in the catalog. It goes on the shelf. Maybe we play it again sometime.
Uh-huh.
This is not a whim game. You've got to mean it. You've got to be planning for it. You got to be ready.
Yeah, I would set aside
adulting.
I'd set aside like 1 day a month, with these people to play the game.
Yeah, you'd play a game 12 times over the course of a year. That sounds great. Should I played board games that I've bought like once or twice? I'm like, that was worth the money. And that was like once or twice. 12 times? Pff, that is efficiency. You don't get that kind of efficiency. And actually, like as far as that legacy thing, I feel like I don't necessarily Star Realms is going towards that with their Kickstarter stuff that's coming out. They're having different factions and all, but it feels like you could get a game like that, a Star Realms or a Dominion or something, a bit legacy where you start with different decks initially based on what happened before.
Sure. I
And
could see you easily ending up with different cards for different things.
Not everything. You don't get like, I crushed everyone's soul and have all this awesome stuff. No, you get some of your awesome stuff based on how well you did, and that changes it. And I mean, sure, might be more of an uphill battle for other people, but isn't that the fun of the challenge sometimes?
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't even have to be things that give you, a gigantic bonus, but just something that makes it different and individual.
Yeah. But even if it is, I mean, I like a good challenge like the next person. I mean, there's so much randomness in these games. There's so few games that don't have randomness. I mean, there's always dice or card draws or whatever that come into it. Randomness takes away some of that thing. So even if you have an advantage, you're still stuck with the dice gods or the shuffling gods to see if they can help you or not.
Yes.
So I mean, it can change the way a game plays, and that's really cool.
Like I've said for pretty much every war game I've played, and including Blood Bowl, you could have the best strategy ever. But if your first roll of the dice is triple skulls, and you re-roll that and it's triple skulls, your turn is over.
Yep. You can throw your dice against a wall, you can throw the model against a wall, it doesn't matter. Your turn's over.
Yeah. So that's that strategy out the window.
I've seen both.
Yep.
I've done this, yes.
I don't throw dice. Throwing dice is a faux
Oh,
pas.
throwing dice?
No.
Well, there was the one
Seeing
time
triple
I
skulls
slammed
again.
my fist on the table and made all the miniatures jump and fall over. That only happened one time, though.
Before I got my anger under control, back in my youth, I'd bring unsharpened pencils with me, and I got angry, just be like, snap. All right, feel better. Sometimes you gotta break something. Dollar store pencils, they're cheaper than $1. It's worth it, trust me. Oh. So there we go. There's legacy games. I mean, we didn't cover it exhaustively because we haven't played a lot ourselves, but it's a great concept we like, and hope to see it taken to other avenues like legacy, deck builders, whatever. Like we actually did that something similar with Magic, where we actually played with just a limited selection of cards in a group, like straight up rules, the old school anti-rules and all, and that was sort of like a legacy game. And it was very cool. Like, you could change your deck and all, but you're still limited by what cards you have and what cards you've lost, what cards you've gained.
They have a civilization building card game called Deckvilization. I think the name of it is sucky, but I was reading that today when I was reading about legacy games, and it's a legacy game.
Oh.
But it's cards. Yeah, look it up. Deckvilization.
Well, I think that one thing you could really do, especially if you have a dedicated spot. I know that game rooms are becoming more and more popular because I was talking. I think it's hilarious. My doctor I go to for like my allergy meds and just walk-in clinic stuff is a major nerd.
What?
I mean, huge nerd. Like,
awesome.
He's like, you going to Gen Con this year? Because I'm going to go see this guy because he's my artist. I'm going to buy like 5 or 6 of his, personal works. I'm like, no, I'm poor and I'm a teacher. He's like, yeah, but... And he was talking about, he's building his own game room, and he's like, I'm going to build one table that's going to be just for board games. And it's going to be, here's our board game table, here's our, role-playing table, here's our blah, blah, blah table, so you can have just things set up. And I was like, because I was mentioning, legacy-style games, and you could just set that legacy game up on that one table and leave it alone. That way you could come back to it without having to worry about it so much.
But, with most of these legacy games, once the game is done, you're putting everything back in the box, and then you unpack it again.
Yeah.
Later, and everything, like for Charterstone, for instance, all of the stuff for each charter goes into its own little box. You get a certain amount of cards that carry over. You get a certain amount of tokens and money that carries over. And it all fits in the little box for your civilization or your character or whatever game you're playing. and so you don't have to leave it. It's not like a campaign.
No, what I'm saying is this is another way that, if you're worried about you can't play a legacy game, you can just have it set out and just wait and just play it as you've got time. Which also, what I thought was funny is he asked me because I was wearing my Adepticon shirt, and he's like, "What's Adepticon?" And I was like, "What? You don't go to Adepticon?" And he's like, "No, what's Adepticon?" And I told him, he's like, "All right, tickets already sitting here ready to buy whenever they go live, and I'm going to Adepticon next year."
So I totally just confused Age of Sigmar with Advanced Squad Leader. I'm very sorry. I said AOS, but I meant to say ASL.
Oh, fair enough. Didn't even catch it. Been a while since I've used abbreviation for Advanced Squad Leader.
A campaign of Advanced Squad Leader. But did you know what I was talking about with all the tokens and everything?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're just not at the point anymore where I can say ASL and people are like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, young kids don't have any sense of history anymore.
It's all those tiny little tokens and stacks everywhere. See, I didn't play it, but I have heard so many stories. The people I was cat sitting this weekend.
Oh, the factory. Have you heard about the factory?
They played it. The factory?
Oh, the factory from Stalingrad. That is like one of the infamous ASL scenarios, the factory.
Oh my god, my friends were talking about that. They did that scenario.
Everyone's done that scenario. It's like one of the first ones you do because, I mean, let's be honest, since you don't want too many tanks and all early, Stalingrad has a lot of potential for that. Anyways, I think we're almost to media section. We probably started early since we got a bunch of stuff.
That's true. We have a lot of.
All right, let me rinse my breath off. Get a second. I'll switch over to our media section.
I like how your guy is going, your tree lord. It's looking good.
Looks so sad.
He looks all blue. Ah.
Glad you're picking up what I'm putting down.
All right, give me a second. And so we got a huge media selection coming up.
Yeah, we went from thinking we didn't have that much to...
All right, well, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go and close the giveaway and go and pick a winner right before the media section. So, John, if you get picked, we will pick someone else, you knucklehead.
What? That's fair. I wouldn't read a book about Robot Girly Man anyway.
All right, so we're going to close it, and we're going to pick a winner, and we're going to test this out, see how it works, and the winner is...
Banian!
Banian, you got a copy of the book. Make sure you send me your...
Do you want his address?
Yeah, send me his address, and I will get you a copy of that book. No problem.
It's gonna be my address by the end of the month.
Oh, is it? Yeah, just send me the address, and I'll send it over. Send me a address somewhere.
An address somewhere.
Yes.
Plenty of addresses.
I'm gonna I got a lot of water and a lot of wash left in this blue, so I will talk while we're painting. I'm paint while we're talking. Damn it. To get this
while we're talking.
I'm gonna talk while we're talking.
I do that all the time. I talk while we're talking.
So.
I would hope so.
Because I'm going to put in here.
What do you want to start with? I think we should end with the one we all are going to talk about together.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Oh,
with
yeah.
That. Yeah. Let's...
So let's start with a Gonzo because Gonzo has more than us.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start with something that's a remake. Which is a remake of an original book, which was a very good book and is a very good classic. HBO decided to remake Fahrenheit 451. Which is, of course, based off the book, which the book is a really, 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 really good book for its time. And they've updated it to modern day technology, modern day stuff, which is really good. They kept to the same theme of what Fahrenheit is about. They kept to the same mentality, pretty much same everything. They changed up some things. Which the book's already been done in past, so here goes the spoilers. The keeping of traditional text and stuff, of course, is now done on the internet, which was called the Dark Nine. And also, instead of people memorizing the books, they've learned how to encode the books on the DNA. So that's where it kind of like went over the shift for me.
I'll be honest, Fahrenheit 451 is a book you should read, and if you make it, I feel like you should make it the classic because it's not... the concepts are still relevant and valid,
Correct.
but the execution doesn't work any other way.
Now, I can
feel.
see that, you still have, you can update it because, they were, what was weird is anytime that the guys went out to go burn books, it was all streamed live social media type stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
I can see that. That's not a problem. And then when you were being streamed, people could, send their love with emojis and thumbs up and everything as you're, burning the books because, it's the evil and all this. Okay, I get that. I can
So
see that.
I don't have a problem with storing books on DNA because I've actually read articles about the feasibility of storing data in DNA strands.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with it. The problem I have was the ending of it. When they were trying to get the DNA going. There was a bird that was coated with all the information of all the books and all the information of all the world onto its DNA. Cool. And so they were going to they had to let the bird go at the right time so the bird could fly to Canada and the people could pick it up so they could continue coding and,
Did they not back it up?
No. No. Didn't back it up.
Oh,
And
rule 1.
they let the bird go and the bird flew off and joined a bunch of other birds. And so the premise is that it joins a bunch of other birds, and then that DNA gets passed down to the next generation of birds.
But it changes every generation because that's sort of what DNA does a little bit.
Because
Yeah.
you're adding other chromosomes and that
Which,
splits, and then the next offspring adds more chromosomes and that splits.
to be fair, it kind of makes it the idea of, a story told down from generation to generation where people like change little bits or forget little bits. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. I just feel like the whole premise of Fahrenheit 51 doesn't work in our modern world anymore because the internet makes that impossible.
Correct.
And I felt like it'd been better to make it a period piece.
Which
instead,
I still think that you could do it in the modern day. You just got to change up the story a bit where it's monitored heavily or the internet's been shut down and it's all social media and, you've got
you can't have social media without the internet, though. That's sort of the thing.
Well,
the problem is it's you'd have to really work on it. At that point, you have to do so much work. You might as well write your own thing.
Yeah.
And just go inspired by Fahrenheit 51. Because,
Yeah.
This is weird.
And so I was not impressed with it. And I hate it because it has two really, really good actors. I can't remember the guy's name. Michael. He plays a really, really creepy guy that was in Shape of Water recently.
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
No, Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon and Michael B. Jordan are in it.
Yeah.
And Michael Shannon, he's such a great actor.
I love Michael Shannon. He is so
creepy and evil of his characters. He does them really well.
I mean, I didn't enjoy Man of Steel that much, but I didn't dislike him in it.
No.
And Premium Rush, which is him and Tristan Gordon-Levitt, is great, partially because he's just so crazy in it.
Yeah, he plays a really good, creepy, crazy guy. So,
yeah.
Acting wasn't bad. There wasn't really any big problems. I kind of got bored with it.
That's no bueno.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be getting bored with that movie.
No, so I'm going to give it 2 space herpes.
That's fair. That's a nice rating. Probably more than it should get, but
probably but I mean it's a classic, and the actors are really good, and they tried to update it, which I thought was neat because it also had the kind of like the Big Brother feel of cameras and all that stuff, and
it's not getting good ratings.
No, it's not.
IMDb's got it at 4.8, which is I mean, God, Michael B. Jordan, come on, man, he deserves better properties.
Yeah. So for me, it was 2 space herpes.
2 space herpes. Gotcha.
2 space herpes.
Oh, so I'll go to 1. I watched 2 movies, both older movies. Both I thought were good at the time, and then I watched them again, and fuck my memory. The first one was a 2001 movie, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, starring Angelina Jolie. Fuck, this movie's not good at all. Like, how did this movie get a fucking sequel?
Because
How?
it's Angelina Jolie.
I mean, the best thing they did was actually cast her in real life father as her father, so that was cool. And she is funny and quirky, and she's not bad in the movie, but it makes so many fucking cinematic mistakes. So think of all the other Tomb Raider-ish movies you get. You get like, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You get even go so far as to call National Treasure, King Solomon's Mines. All those movies like that, they start with that person in a fucking tomb or archaeological site or whatever, getting shit. To show, hey, this person is an archaeologist / Tomb Raider getting shit, and they're good at what they do. This movie, they don't do that. She's in some stupid fake thing, fighting a fucking robot for no goddamn reason. So we have to rely that they tell us she's a good Tomb Raider. And it really hit me. I'm like, hey, sure, she's a good Tomb Raider. You see it later, but you should have fucking started with that. The robot was pointless, didn't even pay off later. Her tech sidekick wasn't even amusing. Her butler was really amusing. The bad guy was okay. It's just not a fucking good movie. I mean, honestly, Banyan, it's not even that entertaining. I had to stop it in the middle and come back and watch more later, and it's not long. I mean, it's under 2 hours. It's an hour and 40, and I had to stop halfway through. The best thing you say about it is it's got a very young Daniel Craig in it. He's decently amusing. The first scene where they're actually robbing a tomb and they're sort of at odds with each other, and she sneaks in a different way and they're coming in the front way. That was a decent scene, though. They immediately go straight into batshit magic, which you could set up better in an earlier thing, because you start off with robots. You're like, oh, this might be a little more serious. No, it's not. And it's just not a good movie.
No.
It's free on Netflix, I think. So I mean, if you want to watch, you can. I'm giving this shit three fucking space herpes because it's not worth watching, really. I mean, if you're bored and you can paint while you're watching movies, sure. But it doesn't have enough going for it. Not even Angelina Jolie can save it. I recall the second one was better, but that's my memory, and I thought this was okay. So who knows? But it's just not good. Too many mistakes. They're lucky they got a freaking sequel out of it, and the best thing about it might be the U2 song Elevation. So that's me. Kathy, you want to hit us with something? Tongue-tied.
Sure. So recently, MHZ, the international PBS, became affiliated with our local PBS station.
Mm-hmm.
MHZ Worldview, if anybody cares to know about that. And they play not only news from around the world, but in the evenings they play international shows, mostly crime dramas. So I've been watching the Swiss crime drama called The Undertaker, or Der Bestatter. I think that's how you say that. I'm not sure because I don't speak German / Swiss.
I don't speak any of that language. I speak English, sarcasm, and bad Spanish.
Obviously, subtitles. But I love it. It's funny. It's an hour-long show, and it's about this guy who used to be a cop, and now he's an undertaker because it's the family business.
Okay.
So his mom has the shop. The dad is gone. So he's working with his mom, and they take on an apprentice, undertaker. And the apprentice, like in the first one, you see him, he's like, I don't know, 20 maybe, and he's utterly goth, like so German goth. It's funny, and to see him like in the hearse and stuff, it's got some really light moments like that. But
that's cool.
I've been really enjoying it. I watch it when I can, but it's It's a crime drama. It's funny. It's Swiss.
it's
The main
Swiss.
character is awesome.
So it sounds like we need to check an episode of, because sometimes those European or different culture shows aren't for you. But I mean, crime dramas are cool everywhere.
They are, and oftentimes the European ones, they focus on more on the topical political things that are going on, or social problems that are going on there.
So
Instead
you're
of
not
just,
saying it's like enhance, enhance, enhance. I can see the reflection off that car
yeah.
of the license plate a half mile down the road.
Yeah, and we all know, those of us who have ever worked in any kind of graphic arts, that is impossible.
It's completely impossible. Yeah, it's just in CSI and NCIS. They're not realistic at all.
Yeah.
Shock.
All right, who's next?
You should do another one.
I actually go. I watched War of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, cool. That's the most recent one, right?
Yeah, the most recent one with oh my god, my brain is like totally fried today. I can't remember his name. No, well, Andy Serkis is always in it because it's Planet of the Apes. Dummy.
You mean Woody Harrelson, right?
Woody Harrelson, yes. And you know what? Yes. I can't look at it real quick because I'm watching everything else going
fine.
on.
I gotcha.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. The one thing that I will
that series is that whole 3-movie series is really good.
Yeah. What I enjoyed more than anything about the whole thing was the apes were done so well. I don't care what anybody says. I looked at some of those apes and I was like, that's not a real ape. That's CGI. Fuck, that's good.
Yeah.
And that's what I was just like blown away with more than anything. It was very entertaining. Didn't slow down. There were plenty of good comedy spots. There was some good action. Whole thing, well worth it. It's on HBO right now. So if you have HBO, I think is where I watch it. So you can get that and watch it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. One space RP, if anything, just because, it might not be your thing. And it is kind of predictable, but it's got some good stuff to it. So one space RP for me on that.
Well, it is Planet of the Apes.
Yep. So
which I love.
Oh, it was good.
I love the original.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, that just goes with my whole mutated animal thing that I've had since I was like 6.
That goes to my Roddy McDowell thing. Roddy McDowell's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Fright Night?
Oh,
the Black Hole? I'm doing the Black Hole soon. I got the we're watching.
There we go.
I love the Black Hole. I don't care if it's Neil deGrasse Tyson thinks it's the most unrealistic movie ever. He's not wrong. But I love it. So my second movie is another oldie, even older than Tomb Raider. Universal Soldier.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sitting up here, my roomie's using the TV, so I'm like, I don't want to bug her, but I want to watch a movie. I saw like, oh look, it's on Amazon Prime for free. I'll go watch it. I'm not going to say it was a mistake, but I probably could have spent that time better.
You want your hour and a half back?
Hour and 42.
An hour and 42 back.
It is the worst of the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies I've watched recently. Which is funny because,
like, in the last couple months.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched several. I mean, I'm looking at his filmography. I mean, I've seen Double Impact recently, Time Cop recently. I haven't seen Lionheart again. I do want to see Lionheart again. But I've seen, of course, God, what the fuck is the one? I've seen more than that, Bloodsport, and it's just like, this is the worst of those, which is surprising because I thought it was gonna be the best. But after a rewatch, you're like, God. Now, Comic Scotty Buddy is correct. Nothing is more entertaining to a teenage boy, because I was still teenage at the point this came out, barely. So this movie starts. It has some really good parts, and I think it is actually a great prospect for people for a remake. I think you'd reimagine it, make it more. You could make this a really good movie, and I think it's a prime candidate for it. It was what, 1992, so it's been what, 26 years. You could probably do that, yeah. So, but it starts at the climax of another movie. in Vietnam where the two main characters basically kill each other. And it shows it's like zip up Jean-Claude Van Damme's body, and it shows Jean-Claude Van Damme. Zip up Dolph Lundgren's body. He's the bad guy. Boom. And then it flash forwards to the future where they're introducing this, the third successful mission of this Universal Soldier team rescuing hostages. And, it's got some really cool moments early, but as soon as you get deep into it, it just goes into standard bullshit Hollywood action movie crap. You get stupid comedy beats that don't need to be in the movie. You get, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that action nowadays has gotten so much more nuanced, so much more better. The action in this movie at a certain point is just not good. You've got the scene of, Jean-Claude Van Damme ordering everything on the menu and eating it all because he doesn't remember eating. And then, of course, he can't pay for it, so they're going to try and kick his ass. And even after he's just punked the first 4 people, the tough guys over the pool table got to come over and try and fuck with him. I'm like, are you stupid? He just punked them. No one in their right mind is going to fuck with him at this point. They're going to be like, let's just call the police. End of the day, it's just not a great movie. It's got some good ideas. It's a point of sci-fi. Sometimes the point is to put interesting ideas in. The idea is the military using, dead soldiers, reanimating them, and using them to do missions because they're already dead and they can keep regenerating them as long as they don't take too much damage. So some interesting thoughts there. Definitely has some good potential, but I'm giving this 3 Space Herpes 2 because I just wasn't impressed. The slew of better action movies to watch nowadays, and even old ones. I thought hard. I'm like, maybe all the action movies are like that. I'm like, no, Predator's not like that. Commando, which is not even considered, a top tier movie, it's considered kind of cheesy action, is so much better than this.
Did you see the recent commercial for a new Predator movie?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that that's coming out, but I haven't seen the commercial for it yet.
We saw it. It's awesome.
I'll watch it. So there you go. 3 Space Herpes for Universal Soldier. God, I need to stop watching old shitty movies and watch some more good stuff. Kathy, anything else till the end, or is it back to Gonzo?
I didn't really have anything else. So,
all right,
Gonzo.
All right. Let's see. I finished the first Law Trilogy book series, which we're going to talk about because I've been listening to the books for a long time. Mm-hmm. Finally finished it up. Really good series. I really loved the characters. Really loved everything. Loved the world. Thought it was really good. The guy that does the read-through of the book was really, really good. He could do voices really well. You could distinguish everybody. It was really well done. Until the very end. I have a problem with the ending. And not that, so-and-so happened or so-and-so happened or whatever. It just kind of, you feel like there should be more to settle what's been going on. It leaves it way too open, in my opinion.
Yeah, unsatisfying endings are the worst because it sours the whole experience.
Yeah. I don't have a problem, I don't have a problem with what was going on with it and how the characters are treated, and because people are real in this book. People treat each other like shit in this book. But it's really good. It's just something about the ending. I don't like the way that it ended. I wanted another book to end parts of the story because there was way too much left open at the end, in my opinion. Too many things just kind of just was like, okay, and this guy's going to go and do this, and we don't hear about him anymore. I'm like, okay. I'm only going to give it 1 Space Herpes just because it was really great all the way up to the very end.
Except for the end gives it a Space Herpes.
Yeah. All the way until the very end, and I give it a Space Herpes. Otherwise, it was really good. Characters were really awesome. I'm thinking about looking at the other books, but I read the synopsis of some of the books that has nothing to do with most of the old characters. So I'm just like, nah, forget it. Definitely recommend it as a read or a listen through, especially if you're driving or painting. The guy that reads the book is really, really good with voices. So 1 Space Herpes overall. Am I on the way all the way through now?
No, I got one more. I've got one more till the one we all have.
Okay.
I've got I just bought some CDs and all, and I'll talk about the one I haven't talked about before, because one of the ones I've talked about before. I bought the Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. They're Live at the Roxy 2-disc set. And man, that's really good. Really good sound quality. I mean, the songs are good too. I mean, Slash is an amazing guitarist, and they do a good combination of their newer stuff and then old Guns N' Roses stuff, and then occasionally an old Slash's Snake Pit, I think it was called, song. So Miles Kennedy has a weird voice, but he can do a lot of that Axl Rose stuff. I mean, it's not the same, but it's like Axl Rose. The voice is different, so it actually works. And I've been enjoying the heck out of that. I mean, I get zero space herpes. Pick it up if you get a chance. Check it out on YouTube. I actually have to thank another podcaster for turning me on to the band, because he did years ago, and that's actually Trevor Christensen from Chain Attack, had posted that he was listening to it on Facebook, so I clicked on it, and I'm like, this is pretty good. I like the heck out of this. So looking for more CDs for listening to in the car, I got that, and been enjoying the heck out of it.
Okay. Let's see, what's my next one? I watched Coco.
Okay.
The Disney Pixar movie Coco.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Beautiful movie, by the way. Pixar still does great animation. Of course, the colors and everything were really good. Story was good. Had some, easy to follow points. Didn't have any issue with it. The story one part of the story was like, oh, well, we don't want you being a musician. I'm like, okay. It just it didn't feel heavy-handed, but there was just something about that. We don't want you to be a musician, so this is the reason why the kid's doing everything. Kind of was a little off for me, but I understood it. He wanted to be something that they didn't want him to be, so of course he's going to do it anyway.
Yeah, so maybe it felt like a little lazy writing, and they didn't explain it well enough. Okay, fair.
And you really you don't know reason why until almost to the very end, which is okay, because it's part of the story. Of course, it had all your good Disney Pixar Easter eggs throughout it, so keep an eye out for those. Good animation. Songs, it was kind of light for a Disney Pixar one. 2 songs in there were really, really good. Remember Me, which is the main song for it, which was really good. And then Proud, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Proud, and it's the Spanish word for heart, or sweetie, or love, or whatever, which was really good.
Heart, because it'd be Corazon.
Yeah, Corazon, yeah.
Very good.
Light Spanish.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Romancing the Stone.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I should watch that one again. Romancing the Stone's great.
I should watch that one again.
That's a good one. But I mean, overall, it was a really good one. There's some good tear jerkers in there, especially if you've got older family members in your life, or if you lost somebody in your life. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. 0, pretty much, space RPs for it. It is on Netflix for free right now, so go and watch it.
I saw that. I watched Tomb Raider instead. My mistake.
Yeah, you mistake. My next one is they came out with the series finale of Sense8.
Yeah.
If you don't know, or you didn't watch Sense8 from the beginning, to me, it was a show ahead of its time, because it covered subjects that people don't want to talk about and don't want to see. And they flash back to that. To me, I love the series. I love what they did. It pulls at a very good heartstring for me. And so when it got canceled, I was like, well, fuck, I really wanted to see more of this.
It's one of those ones, like you're worried about the Expanse. It just was too expensive for them.
Correct. But they did let them have a 2.5-hour series finale.
And mad respect to any company that lets, like, however let them have it. Even, like Birds of Prey, one of the first, sort of superhero ones, they let get a 2-hour finale. I mean, hats off, you let them get a finale.
Yeah. It was really good. It was for the fans. The series finale was for the fans, 100%. They wrapped up all the romance sagas, and the thing I really liked is they didn't shy away from it, because it deals with transgender, polyamory, homosexuality, lesbian, the whole gamut of what people don't want to see on normal TV, but is part of our life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it also deals with family.
The stuff they should see.
Correct, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
It deals with family, it deals with people loving each other no matter what. It wraps up the story. It was really good. It was very heartfelt. Um, I felt like it was too much of a goody goody ending or goody goody way because of how it all ended. Because all these people, somebody's bound to die. But it was really good. Gave a good wrap up. You can tell that the people that did the story, because they did show some of behind the scenes at the very end with people wrapping it up. And you can see cast members, directors, everybody was working on the set at certain scenes. They're all sitting there crying at the end because they know that it's done.
Yeah.
And so you can see that this actually meant something. And like I said, this is a really good series that's way ahead of its time, in my opinion. And I hope we get something similar to it sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
So one space herpes because it's
That was a little too mushy ending. Should have been a little more real, but
a little bit more real, but otherwise it was good. If you like Sense8, finish it up. And my final one, and I watched the first 2 episodes, and I will not watch any more episodes. I watched the new Cloak and Dagger TV show.
my buddy Norange got that. He's going to tell me how it is.
No.
Is it too teeny? Is it too teeny?
It's more than too teeny.
Oh my god! Is it like CW plus teen plus vomit?
Plus no Cloak and Dagger.
Oh fuck that!
So was it based on the 1980s movie?
No, it's based off the
Sort
comic
of?
book. It's based off the comic.
Oh.
See, there you go.
Kathy, I love you because you went straight to the Dabney Coleman movie.
Yeah. No, which was really, that's actually a great show to watch too. No, it's based off a Cloak and Dagger Marvel comic book, which Cloak and Dagger are semi-vigilante superheroes.
Yeah, they're like low end. The whole idea is like they had drugs that like they were druggies who basically released their powers, and them dealing with it and dealing with each other because they sort of need each other because one's light and one's darkness. If you can't tell who's who, you're not paying attention.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem with the entire thing is they took almost 2 hours and 20 minutes into the show, and they still haven't done shit.
I understand a good setup, but you gotta hook people.
For almost 2.5 hours, no.
It's like Ghost Traveler said, the hook brings you back.
One of the scenes, they do a little setup, then they do, it's flash forward a bunch of years, and they're teenagers, and they meet each other, and they touch each other's hands together, and Dagger's hand lights up really bright white, and he's got, the cloak blackness coming out from his coat, and they're like, oh my god, this is really weird, and they run off. Then they deal with their social drama, and social drama, and social drama. And then all of a sudden, Cloak wakes up on top of a roof with a sheet around him.
It doesn't sound bueno. It sounds not.
It was bad. It is very CW. It is very love triangle, bullcrap, disguised. And they just using Cloak and Dagger as a name. To throw a couple of superpowers in there.
Because Marvel's big. Let's do a Marvel property.
Yeah, and it
So
really
bound to happen eventually.
Yeah,
they should have just made the 1980s movie remake.
Would you though? Because spoiler for that movie, you haven't seen it. Hiding secret codes in the end of a video game isn't really a thing you would do anymore.
Or is it?
Because someone's going to win that day one, and it's going to be all over the internet.
But for the most part, just pass it by, guys. It's bad.
I mean, the original.
Yeah, it's bad. Just pass it by. Don't even look at it. Just move right on through. I really can't give it any ratings because it's a TV series, and you really want to base it on seasons. But it was first 2 episodes. I couldn't even finish the end of the second episode. I was like, yeah, let me just fast forward. They're just running around talking to each other. Family drama.
Sounds like Done. 4 shots of crack, and they continue going with that, and that's probably not worth it.
Yeah, it was not worth it. Space herpes wise, just go get a shot and watch something different.
Oh, so before we end, we need to talk about that Bumblebee trailer together because we all watched it.
Yes.
Yes. New Transformer movie, and it's not done by Michael Bay,
No,
and it's the
Hooray.
new Bumblebee movie.
And he's
And
an actual VW.
yeah,
correct.
it's a VW bug.
He's a bug.
And it's based in the 80s as a time period, isn't it?
Yeah, it's based in
Yeah.
the '80s, which is good because it's already been established he's been here since World War II.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of hoping they go into the whole, maybe a whole he lost his memory memory thing, which is why he's hanging out there. This sounds weird, but I think after 5 movies, they really know where they're going with the series. They don't need to fill in, and they're gonna start telling more interesting stories, maybe.
Yes.
Because I'll be
We
honest, the second movie, I haven't seen the third yet, but the second movie is the only one that I'm gonna physically feel pained rewatching.
Yeah.
The fourth one was not great, but it wasn't terrible. It had some good points. The fifth one was amusing. It was totally watchable and understandable. It's just I feel like they know where they're going now. They know what kind of story they want to tell. They know what kind of backstory they want to tell. And I was intrigued by this. It looks like a see it in the cheap theater at the very least, maybe even in the full theater. Interesting. It's going to be just a Transformer and one human as the main characters, which is cool. You get a lot more interesting storytelling with just 2 main characters.
Yep.
Because I feel like the first movie, they had so many characters, you didn't learn too much about any of them, but you didn't need to. It was a good scattershot, and it didn't feel like you were shortchanging the robots because you had so many humans and so many robots. You're like, it's just like a disaster movie characters, which is fine. And then, the second one, they sort of focused more in on characters. You realize you didn't fucking like those people. Or the humor was shit. Or robot balls. For fuck's sake.
I'll tell you this much. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's got me
Yeah.
enough interested into it that I'm like, yeah, I could sit and watch. This is not a huge takeoff from what I would consider a good Transformers movie.
Yeah, it's on my list. Like, okay, cool. I'm interested in seeing this.
Yes, definitely interested.
Yeah.
We'll hold off on, of course, a rating until then. But so far, we'll go see it.
When
I'm
does it
actually going to
come
go
out?
I'm going to go so far as to give it a projected rating.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I project hope against hope. It's going to be 3 space herpes. I mean, sorry, I only have so much hope for Transformers. I think 3
You
is a
mean
step up.
No more than 3 space herpes?
Absolutely, 3 or
okay.
less.
3 or less.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not too cutesy.
Correct.
A little worry about that, but I don't think they're going to. I think they know their audience.
Yeah. Also on that note, talking about movies coming out, Into the Spider-Verse. If you haven't watched that trailer, go watch that trailer.
I've seen it. I'm just not sure I want to see the movie.
I do because I'm a Miles fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Miles fan. I definitely want to see it. If you haven't watched the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, go watch it. To me, I'm a big, huge Miles Spider-Man fan, so I'm just like super excited for it. So
Yeah, it definitely looks like it could be interesting. It's going to be in a theater, so cool.
yeah. Other than that, guys, it's actually 8:30.
It's past. It's actually 9:34.
No, it's 8:34.
Silly.
Freaking time traveler.
Totally not.
So with that, guys, we
bad ahead of
are
time.
done for the day. Don't forget, Kathy, are you streaming tomorrow morning?
I'm streaming tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., 10 to noon. I am going to be hopefully completing or almost completing my work on Pinchy the Scorpion Rex. So if anybody is around and not busy at 10 a.m., come join me on the chat. And who are our sponsors for this show?
Oh man, we have Mechanica Studios, which makes really awesome dice trays and really awesome trays and some really good widgets and stuff. Broken Up Games, which end of this month, guys, we should have some stuff for you to show.
Yep. And then actual able to purchase after
Items?
lock and load.
After lock and load, which we will actually be once the store is set up and everything's ready. Adam will be coming on our podcast to talk about stuff, and do some giveaways, which is a sponsor of, and of course our good friend Dan the man, of Tectonic Craft Studios, which makes a really good terrain and other things also.
Base inserts, all sorts of stuff.
awesome good things. Other than that, I will be doing a Force and Destiny game on Wednesday. You're welcome to come and join and watch. I'll be streaming also throughout the week.
I feel bad that I don't stream ever, but not that bad.
Doesn't have to be. We just try to
But
give you a bit more presence on Twitch.
you will probably have a new minis and movies next week, assuming I can wrangle the time to watch a movie and talk about a subject. I've been talking about my Armada campaign, but that's been on hold for a couple weeks, so I'm gonna have to make something up. It should be great because it's always great when I fly seat of my pants.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What else we got? Anything else we got coming out this week, guys?
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube.
Oh yeah, which we did get. Watch out for more painting stuff as going in with Kathy to be able to do it a lot more. Should be doing morning stuff to help out.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to give us ideas or ask like, I'd like to hear you guys talk about X, Y, or Z.
And also, the new patron awards will be starting already since it's new June. There will be the new patron award. So if you are a subscriber of $5 and up, make sure that you do that now so you can get in on this because Kathy next month we get in with everybody to find out when they can do a Google Hangout and she can teach and paint during that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, and that's I actually talked to quite a other people over at Nashcon about what they think that's worth, and they say that is an amazing deal for $5 a month or $5 an episode. So we should get some more people.
Hanging out, talking about painting.
Yeah, and learning about painting. Oh, Kathy, how do I do a glaze? Well, this is how you do it. We'll leave that for your $5 rewards.
Boom.
With that, guys, More Than Dice is done, and we will see you next Sunday for the Gonzo birthday episode.
Bring cake.
Bring cake. And beer. So, for More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Kathy.
Take
Good
care
night.
of each other.
Good night.
What the heck is that?
John's dancing.
John, you dancing?
They can't see me anymore. I'm just chuckling at the device not available. Because
technology
is our friend.
Well, you know what's funny?
Technology.
What's weird is all that is the microphone.
Microphone?
Yeah.
Shit.
So, I just hit it, was all.
Yeah, we're good. Talk over the ending. Oh man, I got the 3-box set of Mission Impossible 1 through 3 for really stupid cheap. I might watch those soon.
Daddy's gonna join me on my thing tomorrow. I think he actually showed up on Thursday when I did the morning one. He works. He's one of the people that works a weird shift,